finally feel like I might be out of my reading slump. It was freaking long as well, you know, guys. It was long. I want to say like years long. So I thought we'd chat through some of the books that I've read recently that I feel like maybe have got me out of it. I still don't feel like I'm gonna hit my reading goal for this year, which is freaking annoying. Oh, I've not marked the book I'm currently reading on the story graph. We'll figure that out later. Anyway, I think I'm currently on track. Oh god, like I'm 6 on Storygraph. It tells you how like on track you are for your reading goal, and I am 6 books behind. I think I was silly giving myself a goal of 25 books when I was in a reading slump. Like, it wasn't gonna happen. So I've currently read 14 books so far, but the most recent ones that I've read have been the ones that I feel like have maybe like ramped it up a little bit. I talked about what books that I read on holiday a little bit, because when I say read a lot on holiday, that's for me. For the majority of other booktubers and like booktokers, it's not a lot. I read 3 books on holiday this year. That was huge. That was a big amount. For booktubers, that's probably like 10 in 1 week. That's probably a big amount. For some, it's definitely more than that anyway. 2 of them didn't really like get me into it, especially I was a bit disappointed with the Taylor Jenkins Reid one. I really love Taylor Jenkins Reid's books, but the Carrie Soto is Back just didn't hit the same as the rest for me. Then I did People Like Them, which felt like a bit underdeveloped. It was a very, very, very short book. I read it in a day, but it just felt a bit underdeveloped. But then I read Day of Fallen Night. If you haven't read the Priory of the Orange Tree books, please do. It's brilliant. I feel like it doesn't, I know it's popular. I know they're popular, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying like it's an undiscovered classic. Like, that's not what I'm saying. But I just don't feel like it gets the same hype as like ACOTAR, because there's not sex in it, or like not as much sex in it. These books are better than ACOTAR. Different. It's definitely more kind of like Lord of the Rings vibes rather than just like fairy smut. But so good. If you haven't read them, please read them. But that kind of got me back into it. They are huge books. Like, if you haven't seen them, they are huge books. Both of them. But it just felt like it, because it was back in a world that I really enjoyed the first time, and the writing's just brilliant. It really got me back into it. So I finished that on a 4.25. Then I went straight into the Lisa Jewell book, which Lisa Jewell in my reading, because I love a thriller. Thriller and fantasy are my genres, and mystery. But like, Lisa Jewell is 50-50. I either love it, one of my favourite books ever, or I don't think it's well written. This one I gave it a 5-star. What happened in that book? How have I forgotten it? Oh, the podcaster one. It wasn't like highbrow literary fiction like Priory of the Orange Tree, like Samantha Shannon, but the story was good. It just kept me reading. Like, I was excited. I'm only reading before bed currently, but I was excited to get back into bed to read this book, so I gave it a 5-star. Then I read The Retreat, which is the sequel to, let me get this right because I get it wrong all the time, The Sanatorium. You guys might recognize the cover because it was everywhere. This one with this, the one that I'm talking about, was the sequel to this. This one was a bit of a weird one. I ended up rating it only like 3-star, but I really enjoyed the story, but I just felt like it was not good. I know some people love not good books, but it was like not good. I was interested in reading it, but I just didn't really like the story. Then I read Yellowface. I really enjoyed Yellowface. I haven't rated it that highly, but it was still like, it felt like it was getting me into reading more. Then did a Harlan Coben one. Didn't really enjoy it. It wasn't like what the blurb. It's only like my 2nd Harlan Coben book. I've watched a lot of the series, but it was fast paced. It was all right. It just wasn't my favorite. But what we are reading currently, which we're going to read in this reading vlog, if you are subscribed, you'll have seen it in my Waterstones book haul. I'm at the end of that now. Like, you'll have noticed all of the books that I've read, bar the Taylor Jenkins Reid one, is just my haul. And I'm at the last one, and I've saved it till last. This is the Turnglass, and are you ready? Are you looking? I know. So there's 2 books in this. It's, what's it called? Because it's got it. If there's any French people, correct my pronunciation, but it's a tête bêche, which basically means that it's a book split into 2 parts, printed back to back and head to foot. So I am currently reading this side, so you can see like the font is all correct and upright. If you go to the back, it's upside down. And let me show you where the middle is. Have I got my book now here? Yeah. This is the middle. So you can see how far I am in this one, but then this is all a different book. They are going to be related. I can tell, I can feel it. I had no idea which, I had to Google it. I had to be like, what way do I read this? And basically the intention is you can read it any way you want. which I don't like. I wish there was a way to read it. They did say the most optimum way to read it was do chapter 1, chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 2, chapter 3, chapter 3. I didn't want to do that. I wanted to do it the most optimum way possible, but the physicalities of reading a book like that, like having to do like that and then flip it over and then have it like that and then have like 2 bookmarks, and then also just the kind of like flipping in between 2 different worlds, well not worlds, but one side is set in 1830, no it's 1930s, 1880s, and the other side is 1930s. So just I know there's many successful books and TV shows that flip between time periods like that and work very effectively, but I think when I was just thinking about how would I want to read this, I thought I'll read it like book to book rather than chapter to chapter. And also, I am not the biggest fan of prequels. I don't like how I know how it's going to end, if that makes sense. So I thought if these were related in any way, which I think they're going to be, I'd prefer to read it in chronological order. So that's what we've done. I went into this, my favourite way to read a book is not knowing as much as possible. So I will read the blurb in terms of when I'm at the bookshop and I read the blurb to know whether I want to buy the book, and then I'll not read it again. Like once I know I've bought it, I don't need to know what happens in it. I don't need to know. I'm trusting past Sarah enough to know that that book was good enough for me to buy. So that's the only time I read the blurb. And that's what I did with this one. So I went into it blind. The only thing I knew it was 1930s versus 1880s. And that was just to inform my decision on how I wanted to read it. But I'm really enjoying it so far. I'm really enjoying it. So I'm reading the 1880s, so it's like Victorian times. And Jack's always saying to me, you like a Victorian book, you like a Victorian novel. And I've always been like, do I? I don't really like pick them up that often. But this is a Victorian mystery. I do like a Victorian mystery. I loved Fingersmith. If you haven't read Fingersmith by Sarah Hayden, oh god, is that the woman who's doing Strictly? Sarah Waters. If you haven't read that and you like Victorian mystery, read that. It's a really good book. But I've really enjoyed that. What are some other mysteries? I like Sherlock Holmes. I mean, there's a lot of problematic stuff in his writing, so I don't read too much of it. But actually, I think I really do enjoy a Victorian mystery, and this, it's a Victorian mystery. I'm actually really sad because when I've been reading it, I've been putting my bookmark to the middle so I know like how far I am to the end of the book, and I'm really sad it's not bigger. The 1930s side seems to be bigger than the 1880s side, and I'm actually so sad that there's not going to be more of it because I'm really, really enjoying the premise. Oh, I really enjoyed Mexican Gothic. That's very like Victorian mystery as well. That was the other big one I was thinking of. But yeah, I thought this would be a fun one to do on a reading vlog. Also, like I say, this is my last one in the haul, so I think a bookshop trip might be on the cards. And that's a cute thing to vlog. So we're gonna do some reading. I've been working this week, so I have time to do some reading today, like have a day off. So I'm excited. I'm gonna get cozy. I have my headphones at the ready. I am very much like a listen to something when I'm reading. I don't listen to music because if there's words in it, I cannot read for the life of me. I flip between, I don't do classical music because I actually really enjoy classical music, so I focus too much on the classical music. So I flip between like focus music, which is, can I give you an example? There's my phone. Stuff like this. Very kind of lo-fi, but without the homage to real music kind of thing. I flip between that, nature sounds, and I think later we're gonna go in the bath and have like it's autumn. It's fully autumn now. Fully autumn. We need to go in the bath and read at some point. So let's do some reading. Yesterday, I didn't end up going in the bath. I might go in tonight. Are you inspecting the shelves? Yeah. Yeah, I need to as well. I finished the first book. It was a bit weird. I didn't expect it to end where it did. I really enjoyed it. Like I really enjoyed reading it. The writing was a little bit strange for me. The story was great though. Absolutely loved the story, but I just felt like I struggle with things that are not like explicit. So if it requires, like I had this with Prairie of the Orange Tree. I didn't realise till like halfway through that worms and dragons were kind of like the same thing. Like when one of the storylines is they're being like, oh, they ride worms, they ride and on the other storyline it's like, we ride dragons. And it took me a really long time to actually understand that they were the same thing. It was just different perspectives. And I feel like I struggled with that kind of element in this story as well. So I was finding it not difficult to read, but I think I got lost in the plot a little bit. And then it didn't, I feel like this is good, but there's like there's something in it. I don't want to spoil it because I really think people should read it. It's a good book. There's something in it that doesn't explicitly get talked about, and I do quite like that, but also at the same time, I do want it explicitly talked about. But I finished the first book. I haven't started the second one at all. I'm really, really, really hoping that the second story like follows on from the first, not completely, because obviously it goes from like 1880s to 1930s, but I want to know what happens. I want to know what happens after that first story ends. So I hope it follows on in some way. I feel like it should, because then it would just be two different stories, wouldn't it? But anyway, I think we're gonna go to Waterstones, aren't we? The Waterstones in our area isn't the biggest, unfortunately, but we'll go have a look. I don't think we have any independent booksellers in Morpeth. No, so we'll just be heading to Waterstones. Let's go have a look at the bookshelves, because I do have like a TBR section. It is going to be a little bit embarrassing because it's going to be like me being like, I've got nothing to read, and then there's literally 2 shelves of TBR. But still,
there's some weird stuff on here. What's this one?
That was one that Mama got me.
We'll chuck it somewhere. You're not going to read it.
I don't know, because I don't really like it just looks like it uses like Comic Sans on the side. I'm pretty sure it was written by someone who had autism, and that's why she got me it.
Right.
She got me a really long time ago though. I don't know. Yeah, that one's from my mama. That one was from my mum, which shows how old this book is.
You're not using a seed packet for your bookmark at the moment.
Yeah, I know. I've got a bottle of book.
And there's the other one.
I know, but I don't want to lose my face when I'm reading this.
If you want to use that, put one of them in there.
Yeah, I know. I am using a seed packet. Anyway, right. Let me explain, because this looks absolutely massive. I'm not sure I want to read this because it's huge and I hate reading hardbacks. This I do need to read at some point, but I'm not sure on it. This is a sequel bought by accident. This, I just don't find it appealing. Like I said, that one was from my grandparents. I didn't actually choose that. This is Jack's. They actually were an honorary graduate at my graduation ceremony, so that's why Jack bought that. This is, I don't know if I want to read this. Jack read, you didn't finish it, did you? You read
I did, I finished it.
Did you?
Yeah.
But Jack says it's not the best. So I don't know whether I do want to read this.
I didn't enjoy it, but I don't know if it's not my type of writing.
Yeah. This I am in the middle of reading, but it takes a lot out of me. Like, it's basically homework. So I'm not reading it super, super fast. Same with this one. I also don't know if I do want to keep rereading this. I've seen apparently the author's not the best person in the world. This one, again, I'm not so sure. I think you bought me that as a gift at one point.
I don't know.
This one, again, Mama bought me it. And it's huge, and it's also non-fiction. So Rules of Wealth, I don't know. I need to look into the author on that one. I don't know. I bought that a while ago. Dawn French, I tried reading that and didn't really like it, but I don't know whether I'm going to attempt it again. And that is there for Jack to read, because I think he should read the book, because if you haven't read the book and only seen the movie, you should read the book. It's better. Oh, and then up here is, why is the Sanctuary up there? This is kind of like Jack's TBR. So this is the second one of the one he's reading now. This is just one that he has. This is one that I bought for me, but it's apocalypsy, and I do not do well with like apocalypse, global warming kind of scenarios, and that is. So I actually think Jack should read it. I think he'd enjoy that. And then we both want to start Brandon Sanderson. Am I ready for this though? I don't know.
You could read that one instead.
What? Mistborn? No, because it's space. I'm not interested in space. Oh, Skyward. Yeah. I ain't interested in space. Right, what do you think about buying books today? Do you think we shouldn't? Because we do have a few.
How many do you have? Just all of those, really.
All of them, but I don't really want... Like, legit options, I probably have... I want to read Mistborn.
That one, maybe.
No, I don't want to read that. No. That's it. The rest of them, I'm...
So you probably need a new book then. Because you'll finish this one in a couple of weeks.
If that. I'm halfway through already.
So you probably do need one.
Haul though, because then I can do a haul for them.
Maybe a little one. Limit yourself.
No, because I need to do a haul for them. I don't know. We'll see. We're gonna go to the shop anyway, so we'll just see. Sometimes when we go to this Waterstones, the selection isn't great, so we'll see how it goes. Okay, what table do we want? This looks like a bit of a mix. No, I don't feel like this is my table. Let's find another one. Buy one, get one half price. Let's have a look. Oh, these look pretty. That's pretty. Oh, I saw a lot of people posting about that, saying it's a really good like autumnal book to read. It's quite cozy. I love this cover every time we see it. It's so pretty. You should read it. So we own it. Read that one, read that one. We've got that one.
It looks like the one we both read.
The Hunting Moon one?
Yeah.
This is the thing, I don't really know what I'm after. What am I reading now? Victorian mystery. Maybe another thriller, you know. If we limited it to one book, 1 or 2 books. I think we are going to limit it to 1 or 2 books. It's been an expensive month this month because of things. So I think we are going to limit it to 1 to 2 books, and then maybe I'll do a haul in November. So if we're doing 1 or 2 books, it's got to be good 1 or 2 books. So what do I pick? God, I feel like I shouldn't buy a fantasy one, because if we're going to do fantasy, I may as well just do Brandon Sanderson. So if I don't do fantasy, I should probably do thriller. Showing you how pretty it is.
It is really pretty.
I looked at that and I was like, oh, who's it by? Went to the bottom and I was like, oh my god, Nish Kumar's wrote a book. I was like, oh my god. And I was like, it can't be Nish Kumar. So then I was like looking for about the author. And I was like, oh, Jill Johnson. It's a quote by Nish Kumar.
Oh, right, okay.
I was being very silly Billy. Ooh, that is really pretty. Oh, it's a hardback though, and I hate hardbacks.
It's like the story of it is a little bit like, it's a bit more fantasy.
Beautiful.
It's written by
Look at that.
3 flags.
Oh my god, it's stunning. I was like, this sounds like Mulan, and it's a retelling of Mulan. Yeah. Do you think you're gonna read The Witcher? That's pretty.
I don't know.
We came out for some lunch. We're in a very cute, cozy little cafe and getting a panini before we head back home. We are back home. We had a cute little cozy coffee date, didn't we?
We did.
It was nice.
Cute and cozy.
Books that we picked up, just mine, because Jack's got more on his TBR than me.
Yeah.
Calm down. I've picked up The Devil's Breath by Jill Johnson, which looks beautiful. Look at that cover. Stunning. It's about, I don't know, it sounds like a thriller. Then I've also picked up The Very Ugly, The Housemaid. Oh, I do need a battery. The main reason for picking this up is I was 1.5 stamps away from a voucher. So we needed to buy something else. And this is purely FOMO. I've seen that there is a series coming out of this. They've announced who's been cast as the roles. So it's FOMO. I want to read it before it comes out. It really has good reviews, but it's just such an ugly cover. Like this is so ugly. Like, look at the difference. I know which I think is prettier, but never mind. So that's all we picked up. We'll be doing a bigger haul later in the year, I think. I'm not going to read anymore at the minute because I need to do some work. So I might read in the bath later. I think we're going to make some cookies. When I made cookies, when we put up the autumn decorations, we froze some because it made way more than we were expecting. So I think we're going to make some cookies. Yeah?
Yeah.
Adorable. Good morning. I've just been rubbish. I just didn't go in the bath. I got distracted playing Sims. I couldn't be bothered to go in the bath. So I've not been reading. Terrible of me. I apologise. I did read before bed though, so I've started the second book of it, and it's interesting. It's completely different. Like, it's not like writing styles, obviously, because it's written by the same person, but it just seems like completely different. The first one that I read was obviously 1880s. It's set on a island in Essex with it has one house on the island, and then it's sometimes on another island that's like tiny that has like one village on it. And then this one, we're in 1930s Hollywood, like full on Hollywood. So it's just really bizarre how different they are. I also think that maybe the stories aren't going to relate to each other, because in the first one, within that story was a book about a house in 1930s California. So it was like a futuristic book about somebody living in 1930s California. And you didn't really learn much about this book. It was important, but it wasn't important what was in this book. And also, up to the part that I've read, there's a character who books are important to them. So I'm just worried that it's going to be that in this story there's a book about the 1880s story, and that's going to be how they interact. The house seems to be important, but I'm just so worried it's not going to be like directly correlated, which is what I feel like I wanted from it. But I tell you what, I am really enjoying having the like 2 books within 1 book. Like I love that. I love reading books that are set in the same universe. Like I love having like the Hunger Games, different stories within that. I'm so excited for the 3rd book. Well, I don't know, like 5th book, but you know what I mean, like the 3rd story. I love like, I don't love the MCU because it has its problems, but I love how like we know the universe that it's set in the majority of the time. I really enjoy that, so I'm really loving having like a 2nd story in the same world. I really love the premise. I wish there was more of them. I hope there's going to be more of them. I hope this is kind of at the start of people doing them more. I hope this author does more of them. I just think it's a brilliant concept. Never seen it before. The concept is the main reason I picked up this book. It wasn't because I was like, oh, that story sounds good. It was like, no, I love this concept, so I'll give it a go. So I am really enjoying it. I think I'll get through it quite quickly as well. And then I think we'll probably... Which one will... Because this is also Victorian, I'm assuming. Actually, it might not be. I feel like I've judged that just because of its cover. I don't know when this is set, but this is more of a mystery. This is more of a thriller. I might do the thriller first. This is also a nice length. Like, it's not too big. They're both quite similar, to be fair. But I think I'll probably do The Housemaid, and then I'll do Devil's Breath, and then after that, we'll do a haul. So make sure you subscribed. I am gonna finish this video here. If you do enjoy the book content, reading vlogs, please make sure to interact with this. I don't get the best views and things on reading content, so I don't go to do them more, but if I get more like engagement on it, it means I know that people are actually enjoying this content, so please make sure to do that, and then I will be likely to do more of it. I am also, oh, I'll wait till he's finished drinking. I am also on a mission to try and get this channel to 5k. I'm giving myself to the end of the year to try and make this YouTube channel a success. So any interaction I'd appreciate. So that's liking it, commenting on it, subscribing if you are new. If you are new, welcome, and sharing the video. But even if you don't do any of those things, thank you so much for watching, but I shall hopefully see you in another video.